Patty Reese. You know what? It becomes more of an honor every time we talk. We talked a year ago. How are you, my dear? It's great to see you.
I'm doing very well. It's good to see you too, Steve.
I mean, it really is, and I'm telling you, we're going to take a catch up ride together here with what you are doing, and it's so exciting because we talked last time about a new record that was coming, and it looks like it's coming out soon. It's going to be released. We'll talk about that in a minute, but one thing that you've never had an issue with in your entire career is gigging. I mean, so talk a little bit about right behind me is a place you just played down in Austin. What was the reason being down there? I know what it is. Talk to us about it though.
Well, South by Southwest
Yes.
music conference was going on down there during that time, and so 360 Degrees Entertainment put me down there, and they hooked me up. And they treated me really good, and
Wow.
so I got to play there. And of course, all over the walls, there's pictures of Willie Nelson playing there, Chris
Right.
Christopherson, even Taylor Swift. I was like, Taylor Swift played the Saxon Pub. Gotta be kidding me.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, I mean, like it's a Texas icon. It's just, it was an honor to play there. And then to have the owner come up to me personally after my set and say, "You are really good, and I'm going to have you back."
Oh God, come back to Saxon Pub. That is fabulous.
I
Not
started to cry. I was getting like flipped. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not crying right now."
right.
I
Not
didn't
a
expect that. I really didn't expect that. So,
not a surprise to me at all that they would feel like that after they heard you there. And also you had some of your close DC musical community colleagues down there. Like, wasn't Holly down there, Montgomery, Jenny Langer, people like that? Who did you see?
well, of course, Holly, Jenny, Jonathan Sloan, Andy Hamburger,
Yeah.
Iron Styles, and then I don't really know the Bone Shakers, but I always wanted to see them, and that's who Jenny was playing with, and Holly too. And then
Right.
Holly had her own band, and then Holly plays also with the Mustangs of the West.
She sure
So I got
does.
to see all them, and they all did us real proud. DC was well represented.
Yes, they were, and I love to see that you were down there and part of it because that upped the ante. I think down there having you there. You also
Oh,
played
thanks, Steve.
also played Florida. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what that was.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy story. So I'll try to tell it fast.
Sure.
Uh, my friend Tom Hall, who's like just a guitar god and just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. We were in a true working band a long, long, long time ago. Like we
Right.
worked 6 nights a week, 50 weeks a year. We took 2 weeks off. We had Blue Cross Blue Shield, the band. We had it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were a working band. And when the band broke up, we all just kind of went our separate ways. And I had been in touch with everybody on social media, but Tom, I hadn't seen Tom, and he just showed up at my gig over the summer where I was playing. I hadn't seen him in 30 years or something. I just started crying. I was so happy to
Oh,
see him,
I bet.
and we caught up and everything. And he calls me. This was that last summer, so then he calls me out of the blue in December and goes, "Hey, would you want to come down and do some shows with us?" He couldn't even finish his sentence. I was going, yes,
Oh my
absolutely.
God.
So their lead singer is also sing tours with Casey and the Sunshine Band. So
Oh God.
I went down there and we did like all the songs I've always wanted to sing. Zeppelin, Allman Brothers. We just rocked it out, rocked it hard. And
Really?
they're very pop. Mr. Nice Guy is the name of the band. They're like Southern Florida's most popular band. And
Wow.
so we did a few dates down there. And so hopefully she'll be touring with Casey a little more often, and I'll get to go down there and be with my friend Tom. So that was awesome.
Oh, well, what another wonderful experience for you in a live music setting of sorts, and just to reunite a little bit. God, that sounds exciting. It continues though, Patty, and I've known it because I follow you constantly, and I have for a while. But the live gigs have come back to fair, and you're back out there doing as much as you probably want to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this time of year, March going into April, January, February, March are traditionally, slower months. And so now it's April 3rd. So yeah, I'm ready to really hit it hard now. I'm like, by this time of the year every year, I'm like, come on, where are the gigs, man? I mean, and then by, July, I'm like, okay, enough already.
Right. I'm like,
And October is my busiest time of year. So in the fall, I'll probably be going to, plus all the fall festivals and things I do in the Mid-Atlantic. I'll probably be going down to Americana Fest and Nashville. There's a festival in Detroit I think I'm going to be doing, and some other things that are
wonderful.
not solidified yet. So, I'll be going out in support of this album. So.
Oh, spectacular. So again, it sounds like you're on a wonderful roll. And when you're playing the live gigs, though, it's probably you're not home to rehome the toads.
So, Mark, how many toads would you say approximately, and this is just one load, that you've taken from our pond?
About 20.
I thought you said it was like 50 something.
Oh, the first time was.
The first time, this year. So with this 20, this is like 70 toads in all that we've pulled out of our pond because it's Toad-mageddon season. And we bring them down here, and I say we loosely, Mark mostly, to set them free. But they gunk up our pond. Oh, good Lord. I thought they were gone. And you know what I was doing today? I'm glad there's no, scent device on this social media thing, because I've been in the pond. They came back. There's a new.
They did?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I built a pond. I
Yes.
love it. I bred all these koi. I got these beautiful koi. I just got them for like $10. That's smart. Now, beautiful big koi. It's a big pond. I dug with a shovel like a maniac. And the toads coming in, like we took out 70 toads already. And
Right.
It's just
Well, that's what I saw the video, and it was like a National Geographic special with Patty Reese and yes, but no, I love the fact that you showed that, but also that you're gigging big. But who's going to lift us up when the weight is so heavy? Who's going to lift us up when the wells run dry? Lift us up I love it. I've played it about 10 times today because I knew we're getting together. How do you feel about where that is right now? When does Lift Us Up, the record now coming out, which, as you and I talked about prior, was a little salty and sweet, and we talked a little bit pre-show about that, and that's fine. That's part of making a record. But how is it feeling? How's Lift Us Up? Is it lifting you up?
It is lifting me up. I wrote that during the pandemic, never expecting to ever see the light of day, really, And I just wanted to write a happy song. And I wanted to be like, Mavis Staples, the Staple Singers, Keb Mo type vibe, And
right.
And then while we were working on this album, Paul, I don't know how to say Paul's name without making a mess of it, but Paul, the producer, asked me if I
is it Paul Buono?
Paul Buono. Yeah.
Buono. Muy buono. Yeah.
He goes, "Hey Patty, you got any gospel blues songs?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? I can't believe you're asking me that." I do. I have one, So yeah, it's just a song about helping each other out and reaching out. Who's gonna lift us up when the weight is too heavy? Who's gonna lift us up when the wells run dry? Who's gonna walk with me when I'm all alone? Who's gonna lift us up? I think it's my Lord. Who's gonna soothe my pain when it's too much for me? Who'll bring down the rain when I'm so thirsty? Who's gonna hold me up when I've got the strength to carry on? Who's gonna lift us up?
to get so heavy. Get so heavy. Get so heavy. Heavy. Lift us up. Get so heavy. Lift us up. It might be you. Might be you. Who reaches out your hand. Help us understand. I wanna walk with you till all of our tears run dry. 'Cause who's gonna lift us up?
And,
Yeah, I love it. I've played it a lot, Patty. And I even though I follow you profusely, I don't say what I don't mean. And that it is wonderful to have that. The album. Okay, talk about that. You and I talked about it about a year ago. You've been working it along. What's the release, or where does that stand for you, the album part of this?
well, you can buy the full album at shows only. I have
Okay.
it there, but on CD. But we're gonna release it digitally. We're gonna do a few singles, and then we'll drop the whole album.
So people can buy it every day because you play every day, practically.
Well, it seems like it, but not right now. I'm playing a few times a week only, which
Cool. Well, I mean, so Lift Us Up, and those songs are from your past songwriting and the things that were being built for a little while, right? Those songs, the other songs on Lift Us Up.
Yeah, well, I did a mix of this time. I mean, I usually put a cover or two on an album, but I did a half and half this time. And
Yes.
It's the Creative and Dreams team is so classy and so capable and competent.
Right.
I really wanted to do some classic songs that I just love, that would be timeless in my repertoire. Just whether I'm alive or not. I think what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few of those songs are, let me know. I just looked at the song list a little while ago, but refresh me on what's on there.
What the world needs now is Love, Sweet Love.
Yes.
Burt Bacharach, God, that Paul just killed the production on that. Just killed the production.
And I was so hit when he passed, because my parents played his records all the time as a kid when I was growing up in the early 60s. And boy, was that music right in here. So that's beautiful that you did that. What else is on it?
And the world does need that right now.
Yeah, I'll say.
Always will, I'm sure.
Yes.
What else? Mandolin Wind by Rod Stewart.
Oh, love it.
We Used to Love Me Tomorrow by Carole King.
Oh,
and the Shirelles, right? I had a big hit with that. And Amy Winehouse had a hit with it too.
Sure.
Actually, a lot of people had a hit with that song. Sitting on the dock of the bay, Fred's good friends with Steve Cropper. And when I was down there recording, I knew Steve Cropper was going to be at the Nashville winery, because he had an artist that he had produced doing a show down there. And I thought, look, I'm in town. I'll be out of the studio by then. I'm just going to buy a ticket just so I could be like in the same room as Steve Cropper. I swear to God, that's what I did it, right?
I can see why, yeah.
And so I'm sitting there at a table and I'm thinking, I'm not going to bother that man. I'm looking over and I'm thinking, like, maybe I could like say hello or something. And I thought, he's sitting there with his family and a whole bunch of people. And I thought, I'm not going to bother that man. And he looks over at me and he sees me looking at him and he points at me and goes, come here. I don't care, like you're talking to me, and he's like, yeah, you come over here. And we talked for like a half an hour. He introduced me to everyone at his table, wanted me to take pictures of him, his whole family and friends at the table. We talked about music, and we had just been laying tracks that day. My gosh, we got to work with some great people, and we were talking about the value of space. People leaving sonic space, when you're whether you're a drummer or a guitarist, leave some space, because he was the king of space. You remember every Steve Cropper lick, and I tell you what, there's not a guitar player out there that doesn't use Steve Cropper licks.
No, not at all. I mean, Soul Man played as a
songwriter. He played as a songwriter, as a producer. He wasn't trying to be the guitar player who hogged the whole show. He was in the big picture, you know what I mean? And not that there's anything wrong with anyone soloing their ass off. I mean, God, we love people who do that, right?
Yes.
But how he can, anyway, it was just mind blowing that even happened.
Oh, I mean, when I heard about that, and I believe I saw the pictures back, and we'll show it to people of you guys there. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, she had to be in heaven, being who she is, to be able to hang with Steve Cropper a little bit. Talk a little bit about Creative and Dreams Music Network and the production of your record. I mean, this was, you had Fred Cannon and Paul Buono as producing it. How was that? How did that feel to do?
Hi, Fred. It felt great. I had a blast doing it. I've known Fred for years, and when my release Strong Medicine came out, that's when I met Fred. And they re-released that album for me and did great things with it. It really got worldwide airplay, and it really was very successful.
And Fred's a former senior vice president of BMI, right?
Correct. And he has worked with, all the greats.
And you said he had loads of stories, I think was part of one of the notes. I was like, oh
my gosh, does he have loads of stories? And he doesn't even know he's telling a story, because I'll be like making a point about something, and then he'll bring up when he worked with so-and-so, and then this incredible thing happened. And
oh my God.
One of my favorite stories in the studio was Rose Drake, who also, was around when all the greats were recording in Nashville. Besides the Nashville greats, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Bob Dylan, and Pete played on all their albums, right?
Pete sure did. Yeah, he was something else.
She managed all those studios too, because Pete owned a bunch of studios. And when she heard "Help Me Make It Through the Night," which I recorded on this album, and she said about Chris Christopherson, she goes, "I don't know what that pretty little boy is so lonely for."
Oh, that's great. Oh my God.
The only man come from someone who's like been there, done that, just like
oh, that is fabulous.
Just little things like that, and then like the microphone I'm singing in, she's like, "Oh yeah, we oh my gosh, I'm spacing out here." Well, that microphone belonged to Pete, and it was in Pete's studio. And then
my God. I mean, reading up on Pete Drake, I was so astonished by what he did, playing on Lay Lady Lay, Stand By Your Man, Rose Garden. And then I saw that he created the talk box, which was Frampton,
he gave Frampton his first talk box.
That is fabulous. Do you feel like
he handmade it?
So and then Rose took over the label he passed pretty young, 55 years old.
Well, she was always a partner too. I mean, they were married, but she was always she did was the business end of things. So yeah, wow. She took over where he left off. But I mean, she couldn't obviously play pedal steel. But he was just entered in the Country Music Hall of Fame this year, and the pedal steel that's on the album, most notably on "Help Me Make It Through the Night," that's the last time Pete's pedal steel was used in the studio before it was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
Isn't that cool?
That's spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, he is, I love his inscription on his gravestone is his courage, his smile, his talent, and his love warms our hearts. So, and then For Pete's Sake is on there. And I love that too. But what an amazing thing. You were in there obviously with Fred and Paul as the kind of the drivers of the car in there on their end. And there were some great people that were in the studio with you making expanding your music and stuff and having a great time. Who were these folks that were in there some of the time?
Well, actually, we went to their house, because that's how you do it now. You take your hard drive and you go to their house. So we went to Blair Master's house. His studio is called the Master's Lair. And, he tours with Garth Brooks now, and he, records with everybody. And he worked with Peter Frampton for a long time, and couldn't be nicer. Nicest, funniest guy you'd ever want to meet. Did a phenomenal job, of course, playing the keys. And then the other house we went to was Dan Needham, drummer Dan Needham. Ooh,
oh, gosh.
Phenomenal. Tours with Michael McDonald and everybody else in the world. And funny man, and there's nothing better than, musician banter in the studio when it's funny. And he was very funny. And Fred, we stayed there much longer than we should have because he was amazed by the stories Fred had.
Oh my God.
So, and he's been in Nashville a long time. So, it's we have a great music community here where we live, but I recognize that they had that same kind of thing down there. We're not at the same level they are, of course, but they've all been there forever, and they, throw each other work, or they worked with so and so. Oh yeah, I worked with them. I was there, but you know what I mean? It's just and I never felt excluded or like, anything like that. All these people were very warm and welcoming and just wonderful to work with. Couldn't have been a better experience.
God, I bet. And the CD release parties are coming. Is there talk about those? There's one at Red's Broken Spoke, right? And need more West Virginia.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a fun place. That's it's kind of like a little. There's not much there, right? So I mean, everybody in town comes to the Red's Broken Spoke. It's not fancy. It's like a biker place, but it's an artist. It's become an artist enclave, that whole area.
Oh, wow.
And so you've got people who have weekend homes there. You got some fancy people coming in. You got the working people coming in. You got, it's just a complete cross because there's nowhere else to go.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's perfect. Sounds perfect. It sounds perfect though for that environment there, and I'm sure it's gonna be packed as well. Yeah. And there's something with Mike Lofgren's place.
Yeah, Mike Lofgren, Suzanne, they have a beautiful stage, and Mike works in construction. He can build anything, and they've got a beautiful 60-seat venue in their home with a recording studio and cameras and everything set up, and it's just so wonderful. We do like a break, and they serve everyone dinner.
Oh my. And
then we do another set, and it's just a wonderful experience. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and they're very nice people. Mike helped me a lot with that Christmas video I did for that movie song I had in the movie, and I had to. Anyway, he really helped me out a lot with that. So I had been to his house, and I'd seen the setup in this room. I never knew I'd be invited to come and perform there, and that he had a concert series going there, and it was at its infant stage at that point. But that sold out in a day.
Oh,
right. So,
oh my! And what's the date of that?
April 16th. April 16th. I'll be way down in West Virginia on the 15th. Doing that party down there, then I'll drive up and do the one on the 16th after that. So yeah.
Right. So the 15th to the 16th, Patty Reese, are things that are kicking you back just up and on. I love this. You must feel good about this right now, huh?
I do. I feel great about it. I'm ready to get moving again. I've been, besides the traveling I've been doing and whatnot lately to play, I've just haven't been up and at it as much as I'm used to. And I guess like anybody with whatever they do, it's like when you're doing it all the time, it's like, okay. And then when you're not doing, you're like, dang, let's get some dates on the book. Come on.
Right. But you not only dates on the book, but you just had some amazing experiences too in Austin, and now again surging forward. I love every second of that. We just talked about Mike Lofgren. His brother Nils is out there with Bruce. I just saw Bruce last Monday, and I think I'm going this Friday in Baltimore. Very exciting. It's my 32nd and 33rd Bruce Springsteen shows of my life. And it's like, I'm telling you, Patty, and you can appreciate this being you and so in tune with the emotions of music. It was incredible seeing him again. And again, every time is amazing. Speaking of that, you covered one of his songs recently, and you put it out there. And so I want people to see this as we go out. The fact that you covered one of Bruce's first songs ever from Greetings from Asbury Park. And I loved when you did it. And it was a beautiful version of it. Do you remember doing growing up?
Sure. I hadn't done it in a long time, actually. And my friend asked for that song, and I was like, all right. I hope I remember it.
I know you did it. It was beautiful. And so among Lift Us Up and among your new record, we're going to roll this as we go out. Patty Reese, thank you so much for being here with me.
Love you, Steve. Anytime.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, before I let you go, is what you said the other day about thank you for being such a fantastic presence, resource, and source of inspiration to our music community. Coming from you, that is melts my heart, because I really appreciate you saying that, because that's why this has continued to go on, is just to engage and have fun with you guys and keep talking about your musical world. So thank you again for those beautiful comments for me, by the way. I really appreciate it. As we go out, here's Patty Reese and Growing Up.
Well, a few stone like midnight, suspended in the masquerade. While I comb my hair, it was just right, and commanded a night brigade. Well, I was open to pain and crushed by the rain, and I walked on a crooked bridge, and I walked alone into a fallout zone, and came out with my soul untouched. I stood in the crowd and I laughed out loud when they said, "Come down, I can look." Well, a flag of piracy flew from my mast. The sailor said, "Wing to wing."